Hello. Supposedly I'm live. So this is March 2026. Avenue X is monthly live and hope it's working. Let me know if the sound and things are looking okay. We've had very unstable internet like this winter, so things can be weird. Hopefully it's working. Oh, hi. Okay, cool. It's working. Weird. Anyway, these things are always confusing because I do it only once a month, and every time I do it, something is different. Gotta love how fast things get upgraded in the world. Okay, it's all working. Cool. Hello. Welcome to my March live stream. It's actually only just a few days after the Lanterns Festival, which would be the 15th day. The full moon of the first month, and in China, you know, supposedly you should be celebrating as well, but it's like only a few days ago. And finally, New Year is officially done, and we're into the proper 2026 of epic shit that is going on in the world. Not bad month, but boring drama so far. No, I think there are a couple that's watchable. But like I said in my live stream title, is there anyone who actually cares about dramas right now? Right? Because look at what's going on in the world, right? It really does not disappoint you in terms of like in meta in all the 3 years of fire thing that we've been talking about in China for a long time to come. So basically last year, this year, next year, so the 25, 26, 27 are 3 years of fire. A lot of overwhelmingly hot fire energy, and particularly 26. So once we go into Year of Horse after Chinese New Year on the 17th, last month, it officially kind of, you can call it the horse. Actually from early February, it's already the Year of the Horse. And this horse is a red horse because it's both the character representing heaven and the character representing earth. They are of fire energy, and they're of the very big fire. So the heaven one is the sun, like the solar fire. So in 五行 and 八字, there are two types of fire. One is the smaller fire, like a lighthouse, like a candle light fire. And then there's a big fire, like the nature's fire, like the sun. So this year is the sun on the heaven, and then kind of like the big fire on earth too. So fire, very, very hot. And everyone pretty much who's into this type of thing, we're saying that 26, we're gonna see wars, proper big fiery burning exploding wars, because this is the hottest year for a long time to like before it and after, right? This is like a hottest year kind of, if you're calculating kind of like in our lifetime. So right after Chinese New Year, what happens? Maybe drama can distract you from it, but sometimes you're like, oh my god, this is looking insane. You know, like Dili Roba was stranded in Dubai for a few days. She was scheduled to go to the March 3rd Paris, like the fashion week, and she had a layover from China in Dubai and then to Paris. And because of the war that just like happened right on time, her plane was like stranded like in airport, so she couldn't go to Paris. So she basically missed the whole event, and she was like in airport for a few days before she could get a flight to go back to China. She's fine, but you know, this is how it could affect Dramaland, which is there's a proper war, and you have actually right now you have no idea how far it's gonna extend, how long it's gonna last. One thing you're gonna know is gasoline price is gonna go up like hell in everywhere you are. I'm pretty sure because Chinese like gas price is already up. That's like the most direct immediate thing you're gonna see, but things as something like other things, who knows? It's gonna be a quite epic. So let's talk a little bit about Chinese drama land, a little bit before we kind of go despair and talk about, oh my god, are we gonna have a war next year? So the 1970 drama, if you pay money, which I think it's pretty stupid they do it, but the last 25, 26, 7, 8, 9, like those couple of episodes, Tencent is doing that stupid thing again. You have to pay money to see, but I've already watched it kind of, so I know how it ends. It did end with them going to university through exam, like I predicted, because that's what happened to that whole generation of people. Then the drama overall is very, very good. Much, much better than I expected. Very surprised. Very surprised. I don't know, Chen Feiyu, maybe he's not made really for xianxia. He's made for realism. Because he looks just so much more normal, like in this drama, than all the, you know, like whatever I don't understand thing that he's played before. Astrology, you can change it in other names because it's not that, like, you can't think of it that they determine what happens on Earth. It's more like Earth is just a part of the system, right? So it's like if you have something on the surface, like you have acne, it actually may mean like some of the internal organs have problems. It's the similar thing is you're looking at signs, which like the stars, whatever, energy. It's just because everything is ultimately one thing. Therefore, when you can see a sign on one part, it is indicating that something else is going on somewhere. So it's more like you think about it that way. So astrology is not that the planets determine what happens to you or what happens on Earth. It's more like because it's all in the same system. So they are easy to see for you to, you know, like reuse as reference. You can think of it that way. So there's nothing actually superstitious about it. It also, like, you can think about it actually as a huge data collection and analyzing sort of like over thousands of years by hundreds of generations of people. And it's just accumulated data that once you get to a point, right, it kind of shows a trend. So astrology, ultimately, all those things, right, like Chinese 八字 or 五行 or whatever, they are kind of observing nature and then collect data and try to extrapolate meaning from it, or try to use it as to see if there's any kind of like pattern. It's pattern recognition based on data. So obviously there are like parts of it that will always not land because it's not 100% guaranteed, but there will always be parts of it that's pretty on spot because ultimately, you know, it's data. If you think about it from that kind of mathematical way, then it's actually nothing weird that, you know, astrology works, quotation mark, because it's based on real life data, and that's it. So in the West, you can say it's astrology in China has its own system, like India has Vedic, which is not really that different from Western astrology, but it's like it has its own different language and system, and even like a slightly degree sort of difference of like how you look at signs. But you know, it's all just accumulated data over generations. Against the current. What's the Chinese name? Too many English names. I know the name, but I can't. I can't immediately recall which Chinese drama it is. I know that name because I know, but I can't remember exactly which one. Hello, people from New Mexico and France. Hi. France. Evening? Off work already? Okay, France should be afternoon. Because right now I have to. My game guild has like people from everywhere, so we have like North American time zones, we have Asian time zones, we have Europe time zones. Every time I need to schedule anything, it's like I have to calculate. It's like that hour is that hour in Europe and it's that hour in Asia. Can people come? Are they asleep? This is the time when you wish the world is flat. Like you don't have to worry about timing. Oh, Liu Xueyi, Tan Songyun. I wouldn't like. I'm very very like neutral about that. I don't know, like that type of domestic kind of drama in idol drama land is really testing on writers, because it could easily be something that is just very meh and just like every other drama of its genre. It's not easy to actually write a good one of that. Yeah, Liu Xueyi. I mean, visually it would be fine, but story-wise, I do not know what to expect from. So if you haven't watched, I would highly recommend you check out Love Story in the 1970s. It's overall like so far I've watched high definition till 24, and everything else happened was like pirated copy online, and I didn't want to spend money on it. But it's a pretty solid from beginning till end drama, and you can kind of forget Chen Feiyu in previous idol dramas. His route in this one is like more on the realism, and I wouldn't say he's the best actor in the whole thing, but he doesn't like he wasn't too bad, right? I can deal with it. I do think Sun Qian does a better job playing the character of the 70s than he does, but overall they create a pretty good couple. The sister is played by Guo Xiaoting, and Wang Tianchen played the sister's husband of Chen Feiyu's character, and that's a really interesting couple too. They've done a pretty good job too. Also, like the female lead character's brother and his wife. So there are three basically young couples in this drama. They're kind of all related. That is also a pretty interesting story and coupling. So for the young three couples, they're all pretty good. And the story is well written, and they play it pretty well. And then the parents, particularly the female lead, Sun Qian's character's parents, they're very adorable. And overall, that drama it would be surprisingly fun. Like if you haven't watched and you think 1970s China is not sexy because it's not pretty, everybody is dirt poor, there's no pretty thing to look at. I mean, that's the truth, because back then people don't even have shampoo. Like you just wash everything with soap. That's the best you can get. So it was like material wise extremely poor era, but the story itself, like the people, like it's fun. It's actually surprisingly fun, and it would be something like you've missed if you haven't watched it. I would highly recommend you check out, particularly once like the two leads got married. It's there are a couple of episodes that will make you like laugh your socks off, like literally. I never expected this drama could be that funny, but when it got there, I was like, oh my god, I have to make my parents watch this drama, because I know they're gonna laugh too, because some of the things that happen in the drama is exactly what happened to my parents, and I know because they've told me, and I watched the drama, I'm like, did the scriptwriter like actually slept under my parents' bed? Like, how do they know that? It's exactly the same thing. And I laughed. I can't stop laughing. So, highly recommend you check out this drama. Love story in the 1970s. The one with about love with Wang Zuwen is not bad at all, and actually it's a pretty hard. It's not easy to deal with story because it's really getting quite. You can say it's quite brave into talking about relationship between, you know, partners, and occasionally you can feel, okay, this drama is quite serious about the gray zones, about normal people, and it's very hard to say who's right and wrong, and it's so much gray zone and so much questionable actions from everyone. But then it's also like, you think about it, it's messy, it's messy, it's not clean, it's not pretty, it's not idolized, but it's like it happens in real life all the time like that, probably even worse. And I'm really, instead of like marveling at the story, I'm actually really impressed about the fact that it's directed by the same director who did like the Swords into Plowshares. It's the same guy who directed Red, which is an espionage drama a few years ago. It's the same guy who directed Three Body. If you don't tell people it's all directed by the same director, these 4 dramas, you'll never be able to tell. Each drama is of its own kind of style and how it tells, like, looks like it's totally different, which makes me, I'm like very impressed. Like, the most impressive thing about this drama when I watch it is actually I'm constantly trying to like tell myself it's directed by that guy who did that drama. Like, how do you even, you'll never be able to tell. And I have this huge respect for this director because this is a very rare director that I feel Chinese drama land is just very short of. And even thinking about whole global, like, for drama and film production, it's actually rare to come across a director who can do a pretty good job, but who always puts the work and its genre first, and himself as a director second, or even third. So the genre that you're tackling is the most important thing, because every genre has its own specific things that you have to follow. It's like it has its own physical rules. And if people are watching a detective drama, spy drama, they have an expectation. There's a way of tradition built up in the genre to how to tell that story. If it's a romantic drama, it has its own. If it's epic historical, it has its own. If it's a sci-fi, it has its own. And often, big directors have too much of an ego. They just want to do their thing in everything, and therefore they don't respect the rules of that genre. And often they create like catastrophic work. This director is totally the opposite. It's like, I put the genre and my understanding professionally of this type of storytelling first. Then I look at the script, how it's best told. I look at the casting, like the direct actors, like who can do what and how to best use them. Then I think about my own style. Like, he put himself so behind everything else, which results in there are so many dramas he's done. They're all very successful and they're not the same at all. Like, they're so different. And if you're not told, you don't know it's by the same guy. I feel like this is like a very service attitude, right? Like, director is thinking, I'm here to work. My job is to do a good work. For the script, I need to pull it into the visual world. What's the best for the story? He doesn't think of himself as number one. He thinks of the story and the genre as number one. And I'm more impressed, right, by the fact that it's directed by this guy instead of like the actual story. In terms of the story, it's not gonna be a very easy watch. If you're looking for something that's like, you know, romantic and sweet and lovely, it's not. It's about a lot of people all cheating in different ways, basically. But sometimes you feel like it's just bad timing for certain things to happen, therefore they're caught in this awkward situation. It's also telling you the truth about the nature of humans. We're never satisfied with what we have, right? We're always looking for something better, and you, whether it's a woman or a guy, it's like it's a drama of a lot of very complicated relationship entanglement between people, and it's definitely not like easy romantic idol stuff to just like everyone is lovely. No, it's not. It's everyone is like, huh? Yeah, so far I think Liu Yining's character is kind of the best guy, but we shall see later. You know, like I have no idea. I haven't watched it to the latest episodes because to some point, I think I was like at 7 or 8 when I was like, I need to take a break. This is too much. It's like people are so, you know, like you know, you're looking at it, you're like, there's no saint in this story. There's no angel. There's no morality saint in this thing. Everyone is so practical and greedy, but on the other end, you kind of understand where they're coming from. It's like a very complicated story about humans, all gray zones. Therefore, it's actually not easy to watch. So I was like, I need to put this down for a bit. It's too much. I need some simple and pure naivety, truly. So I went to 1970s because that story is simple, right? Everybody is just like simple. This one is like, oh my god, everyone is. I feel you actually need to you need to be more psychologically prepared to watch about love. Then it's not easy actually, because when I watch it, I was like, oh my god, that is happening. I feel bad for characters in the story, and I don't like the fact that it's not clean, right? It's so messy. And you know, it's actually pretty realistic. You probably have personally seen that happening in life more than you wish you could. Like more than you wish you fridge. Really? But so it's not an easy to swallow drama, but mostly I'm very impressed by the director. Because when he's doing this kind of talking about, you know, because in this drama, they were referring to the writer Raymond Carver from America, one of the most famous short story writer in your literature history, which I happen to have the fortune to study when I started my study abroad experience many years ago in England. I went to school and my major was English literature, and during my first term there were three or four courses. One of them is contemporary 20th century American writing, and guess who's the first guy I have to write an essay on? Carver. So I have like the strongest memory of this guy in all the the literature years that I had to do. And in this drama, they actually refer to his work in the drama between the characters. They were talking about it. I think I catch, like there was one moment it was like talking about it, and I'm like, oh my god, you're talking about what we talk about when we talk about love. Oh, so if you've read Carver's story about humans, right? He's got a couple of like really classic short stories that probably a lot of people who study English would have come across. It's very much like that. This drama actually has a lot of those discussions about those zones in human heart. So if you like Raymond Carver's story, I think there were a couple that's really like, apart from what we talk about when we talk about love, right? And a couple of others. If you've read his like short stories and you know kind of what kind of writer he is and what kind of thing he talks about in his story, and then you look at his drama, you'll understand me. It's like a visual version of his novels. So it's not easy, but I'm very impressed by the fact that Chinese drama, and even till in this environment and day and age, could still have works like this that wants to bother with this messy territory. That's one first thing. Second is I'm really impressed by the director. his drama, like this drama looks so different from Swords and Plowshares, so different from Red, so different from Three Body. If no one tells you, you never thought that it's done by the same guy. So yeah, Imperial Coroner I actually didn't finish. I kind of know what happened, but I didn't watch all the minutes to the end somehow. I dropped off. I was like I semi got aware of what happened at the end, but I didn't like sit through every second of it. Yeah. So I think that's a lesson for like this type of IP, which is like if you want to do it, you have to do it quick enough. You can't let it happen between that long. Maybe 1 year or maximum 2 years. Don't wait any longer. Like 3 years is already stretching. So this year when Heart 2 comes out, I hope it's still good because that's 3 years. 23 was the first season and now we're in 26 and they're supposed to get the drama out pretty much around the same time, October-ish, as the first, and that's the medical drama, the Heart 2, and that's 3 years. I think that's stretching it for this type of IP. If you wait too long, things just too many parts are shifting around and you can't control them for that long, and you know, and also like time, like these days, what is popular, what is like at the forefront of people's awareness shifts so fast. If you're too slow, you run a risk of when you come back, it's no longer working as well. Yeah, 70s. I mean, because although I am not like alive during the time, because my parents are from that time, and like the relatives, right, all the uncles, aunts, I grew up relatively still close to that era, so that I kind of understand what it's like. Obviously, I haven't personally experienced Cultural Revolution, but think about like it's like North Korea. North Korea, in my opinion, is like impermanent Cultural Revolution. It's like from the day they existed to now, they've been having non-stop Cultural Revolution all the time. China just had a period in its modern history that is like that, but then it was very limited. It had a precursor, it had an aftermath era. So if you consider that, it's pretty much, let's say, from 50 to the end of 70s. You can think about 3 decades of not very ideal kind of like way of existing. After that, though, it kind of became irrelevant. Till today, it's like far gone. So that's why I say China has gone through the biggest change probably like in the last half century, probably than more than anywhere else in the world, like even in human history, in terms of just how drastically everything changes. From the material level to the ideology level to everything, like everything considered. You can like that goes into human life. So it's hard for like young people who are born after 2000 in China even to understand what was going on. Like it would be rather almost like a different universe and different world people's view of things. Like when they try to understand people in the 60s, 70s, how they think and what happens in society, they would be like, they'd be so confused. Right? They're like, their brain would not be able to compute what the heck that is. Yeah. So if you watch the drama, you'll see a little bit, but that's already at the end because it starts at 75 and then it will end with 77, like the university exam reopens, which is already at the last couple of years of the last resonance of the old era, really. Once you go into 80s, it's a different time. So same like Strange Tales of Tang Dynasty, they kept a very fast pace of producing, but the problem with that is they're running out of like good stories. And I mean, detective stories are hard to write. If you have to write 8 every like year or two, that's like really great. It's kind of like stretching. Even like dramas like Sherlock, right? Think about how long it took them to write 3 episodes, just like every season. Coroner Story, Imperial Coroner, yeah. So again, that one's a good drama. About Love is not easy to swallow. Okay, I warn you, and you probably wouldn't even really mind too much about who is the best actor in it, because the kind of condition they're trying to describe is truly the main character of the story. It's a very matured looking relationship story than usually what you see in Chinese kind of like contemporary idol drama, any of that. It's actually not really an idol drama. It's much more messier drama. So it wouldn't be easy. I would recommend still you can give it a try, but then it's not the type of easy idol drama. That's About Love on Tencent. 玫瑰重生. It's Wang Ziwen, Liu Yingning, Gao Weiguang, Jiang Xing, Vivian, who else? Like the guy from also Swords into Plowshares, and also like Under the Skin, the policeman in Under the Skin. That actor is also in it. Like, there are a lot of familiar faces. Yeah, Three Body, because Three Bodies, Ye Wenjie, is one of those people who got very negatively affected by Cultural Revolution. Her character is similar to actually Chen Feiyu and his sister Guo Xiaoting's character. They were like the Hei Wu Lei, right? The people who got denounced and then sent away to like labor. It's called 知识青年, right? Not the knowledge youth, whatever. Like that era. If you know Three Body, then you will know a little bit about the 1970s. But 1970s, like the love story of 1970s is at the end. It's like pretty much because 76 was the year when Mao Zedong died, and then also the earthquake happened. That's like a huge memorial kind of like thing in Chinese modern history. Kind of like split things. From then on, it's a different kind of like era that people start to move towards. 77 was the time when university reopened for exam and getting people in. 77, 78, 79, these 3 years was like pretty epic. Afterwards, things start to go back on track. It's like it's no longer halted and stopped in every sense by Cultural Revolution. It starts to function, slowly goes back. 80s was a period of a lot of like, because policy shifts were not fast enough to catch up with what people want to do. So this is like a business owners, small business owner that wasn't previously allowed start to show up, but policy wasn't really catching up. So there was a lot of a mess also going on where people are going underground, doing businesses and all those like illegal sales stuff. 80s was quite wild. When the 90s come around, finally it's official, like the economy, policy, all the things are like moving towards where you need to first get rich, then think about other things, and suddenly it's all just booming everywhere. So it was so what you see in the drama, like the part where they're reading books and got caught and then put into like quotation mark prison, it's like, oh my god, I was laughing so much. And also like how they are listening to the recorder, like the record, like the thing they borrow, right? And they were listening to the record and they had to turn the music to very, very low in their more like a dorm instead of their whatever room. That part I laughed so much because my parents did exactly the same thing. And then they got found out still, because it's even when it's low volume, it still got heard. And the funny thing is, like the people like in that dormitory, the kind of like the leader, right? You can tell it's like China's super of that like apartment compound. That person is also a very like enthusiast of like music, art and stuff. So when they found, like my parents were listening to the record of like, I think it's Liang Zhu, that's what they told me. which is the music of like the butterfly lovers. And it's funny, like they got found out and that person came to them and said, next time you're listening, make it even like lower volume. Or hide better, just don't let people find you. So when I watched that scene, when Chen Feiyu and Sun Qian were like hiding, right, like turning the volume down and listening to, I think it's, can't remember, it's Mozart or like it's basically piano, and they were like that. I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny. Did you grab this from my parents? Because that's exactly what happened to my parents. They were listening to Liang Zhu. That's a very interesting era. Well, like early 2000s wasn't very poor already. So what you've watched probably was like even back more in time. Early 2000s was already not too bad. But I think things really picked up from mid-10s to now. So the recent a decade was the boom. It's like everything was like slowly climb and boom. Like that boom happened in the last 10 years. So I've talked about love. I've talked about 70s, love story in the 70s. I was also watching the Scarlet Seeds. Yes, I finally remembered. And then also watched not the whole thing, but parts of like Generation to Generation. Generation to Generation. I had like higher hopes for it, but when it started, I soon realized it's just another 端不上桌的 drama. It's like the type of drama that you would be ashamed to serve your guests at home. It's like a roasted stuff, but that kind of burned, and you're like, I don't really necessarily want to, like serve it to my guests. It's kind of embarrassing. That's type of like drama. What it feels like. It's okay. First, it really does not want to bother to set up the worldview. Because in the story, as you move on, right, you start to see like this world has like giant beasts, like the snake and stuff, like what. But then it's also very wuxia. It's not like people can have like 仙侠 powers. So you're very confused about like what is the world build? Can you just like, it doesn't really give you any idea. It just goes. So you're left alone trying to figure out what kind of world we're facing. Also, like it starts with like, supposedly there's like the male lead character is like somebody who's like his family who whatever is so wronged by all the bad people around them. Yet like exactly what was what was the story, the history, right, between your father or your family clan and whatever sect you're in with other people that would give you all this shit. Like exactly what was, nobody knows. It just goes straight into like that. And basically the power structure, who is who has what, and then what is the sort of basic logic of how this world functions is very much left not unexplained. So as I was watching, I was like, I don't really know what you're talking about. Like, why suddenly, okay, like female lead's aunt, she's a hero, she did this like thing, but then, you know, like, I mean, why? You know, like there aren't other people to do it, or she's like destined, or she has super blood, or whatever. Like it just doesn't really want to explain anything. It just goes with a lot of settings unexplained, and then the story feels extremely choppy. It's like suddenly it's here, suddenly it's there, suddenly they're in this place, suddenly this kind of plot is happening, suddenly this guy is. You actually can't quite figure out a very like easy to think through logic of like event after one another. It's extremely hard to locate your like you can't locate anybody on a map, on a timeline. It's jumping all over and it's constantly happening, but you don't know why. Like it's like you're in a dream, right? Like one scene and the next one doesn't necessarily have any logical connection, and you're just being thrown around, right, in every specific scene. And then there's a lot of stupid camera work in this drama. Also, it doesn't look very good. Like lighting was very, very meh. And then a lot of stupid camera work. Slow-mo for no good reason. Very, very tropey moments, like the guy is almost like completely drenched and wet, and you know, like the clothes is on him in the pond. Like, what do you want to do? Like, when you get that, everybody knows what you're trying to do. You're trying to get these two into, get them wet. It's just, when I look at generation to generation, I honestly don't know what they want to do. It's like hacking at a tree, like a few times here, and then pick another tree and hack at it for another few times, and pick another tree and hack at it. It's just like all over the place. The plot, the characters, the world build, camera work, everything is like, I don't know, like there's no flow, there's no connection. Everything is just like boom, 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 randomly put together. Randomly put together. I have no idea what generation to generation is trying to do. And yeah, and I think the snake, I just can't take it seriously. I mean, the script probably on the basic paper level, like basic text level, is already like all over the place. And then I don't know, like I don't even understand whether the actors really have any zoom, like to understand their character, room to understand their character, because it feels like the character doesn't even really have a logic, clear through line of like who they are, like how do you play it, and then they're just like acting for that moment, right? I'm like looking cute in this moment. I'm angry in this moment. I'm sad in this moment. It's all in moment, emotions, slow motion, like a short video, you know, like edited together. 1 minute of this emotion, 1 minute of that emotion, like, edited together, and I don't know what they're trying to do. I can't see the story, can't see the characters. It looks bad. The editing is all over the place. I do not understand what world I'm looking at. It's kind of a wuxia, but then kind of xianxia, and then it kind of has monsters. Like, what are you trying to do? And like, it's so mechanical, like the bad people, right? The bad people in the story, like how they, like the troublemaker for our lead characters, like how they show up and what they do. It's unreasonably bad. Like they're just being bad so that they create drama, conflict, or they create something that the characters can be argue over for that 5 minutes, but it doesn't have any meaning in the long run as building up the worldview, the characters, the story. It's, yeah, that annoying girl, like the annoying, like she just shows up every time and just trying to make life difficult for our leading characters. I'm like why? It's like out of nowhere. She's just like there to annoying everyone. Anyway, I watched some episodes of Generation to Generation and I was like, it's enough. I don't want to spend my time. I don't know what they're doing. I literally cannot understand what is going on in this world, and I can't be bothered. And yeah, I can't, and I wouldn't quite blame on the actors, because honestly, even if it's not them, like I've listened to it just as a radio play, I still don't get it. I don't get what is going on. So I don't think anyone can make it work, because the story is like not there on text level, on script level. You're not gonna magically make it appear with great actors even. So that's Generation to Generation. Then the Zheng Yecheng and Zhao Qing one that just airdropped. I think they aired two yesterday. It was like episode 15 or 16 or something. They haven't finished, but it's like gonna soon, and it's short, so 20 minutes per episode kind of thing. I'm up to so far. Okay, I'll put it this way. They're trying to be like more loosened, and then like baiting to the audiences, but they're not, because the actors and also the drama is still belonging to the so-called normal dramas, right? Even it's short, it's web drama, it's horizontal framed, it's those actors who are in the proper drama competition track and things. So it's not as shameless and wild and like let it go free as proper short reel dramas. So if you're comparing it to vertical 1 minute, 2 minutes dramas that got really popular in the last few years, Particularly China also produce huge amount of that. And those dramas are completely wild. Like the actors, because they're they're unknown. They're not famous enough. They don't have that stars kind of like public image to maintain. They go wild. Their acting are so over the top. Like when they're trying to be sexy or like dog blood to maximum, they actually don't hold back. So if you're comparing to the level of the acting of Scarlet Seed, it got to the weird zone of, because these actors are still belonging to the proper dramaland actors, so they have a kind of a limit of how far they can step. Now they can step further than the normal idol dramas in terms of exposing more skin, being more sexy, being more exposed, and like literally on screen, like showing you all the sexy stuff. But on the other hand, because they still need to keep, like they can't go overboard. So you feel like there's like a weird tag of, I want to be more, but I can't. And they cannot, like they're holding back still a bit. So it got really weird. And if you compare it to like the 1 minute short drama that totally goes to the shameless zone of like, I don't care, and nobody cares, and nobody knows me anyway. I'm not famous. I just want the money. I just want clicks. And so we make those short dramas, and we're so like up for anything. So if you watch those short drama performances, they're so much more relentless and open and like not holding back than what you see in Scarlet Seed. Scarlet Seed is already more not holding back than normal dramas. And it's in that awkward zone of they wanna, I don't know, they wanna go further than normal, but then they still have like that whole sort of like worry and consideration of like we can't be fully like short drama people. So it got caught in that awkward zone of like I don't know how to explain that, but it's kind of funny to see that. It's watchable, okay, but it's nothing unseen before or very, very good or shockingly like not at that level. So in the overall short-ish drama world, the 正业成人赵晴雯, the Scarlet Seed on Mango, I would say it has a lot of pretty people. It's pretty, honestly, pretty, and people don't shy away from like exposing their legs and chests with their muscles, okay? So if you're into that, if you're into watching Zheng Yecheng, basically, right? Like as naked as he could ever get on screen, maybe you can go and watch it. It's not bad, it's not great, it's not groundbreaking, it's not like the best of anything, but it's entertaining to a level. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not too impressive either. It's like kind of that-ish drama. And the story is pretty normal. Nothing great about it. I mean, not too bad. I don't think it's as unlogical and can't understand as generation to generation. It still is pretty simple though, and that's what it is. Scarlet Seed. Yeah, it's pretty. Like the male lead is pretty, the female lead is pretty, female second is pretty, male second is pretty too. It's like it's 4 pretty people. They look good, and sometimes they dress very little, with slow motion, okay, and quite a romantic filter. So that's what you can get in this drama. Yeah. Zheng Yecheng gets quite naked and wet. Zheng Yecheng. About him, one thing is, he doesn't seem to have very good connections in the industry where he can get like great projects. That's one thing. Second thing is, as an actor himself, if he wants to advance further, he has things he needs to break through as well. Otherwise, he's gonna be going in circles in the current type of dramas forever and ever. He's not somebody who's like wildly talented in terms of in acting, right? If you're saying like a stuntman, he's really good, one of the best we have these days, but that's not enough, right? You can't just be like a general forever. In terms of being a proper actor and then going to the more that level, he has quite a few things he needs to upgrade, I'd say. Otherwise, he would be stuck in this period idol drama land. That is just like a place where a good script rarely shows up, and it's not gonna be him to on the front line to catch those, because yeah, you've seen what kind of dramas he ended up in, right? He doesn't seem to have like very connections. He has a lot of things he needs to actually improve if he wants to be a really good actor. But I don't know if first is if he's aware of it, second is if people around him will honestly let him know. And also the thing is, even if you do the work, right, whether you ever get the opportunity to show is another thing these days, right? Good stories are so rare. Hello. Interesting, you type hello in Chinese. Shou Ming Shu, I didn't. I know what happened. Like, I know what happened later, and I do not understand what the heck is going on with the script. After knowing the plot, I'm like, huh? And then, this type of heavy realism drama probably should have a full-on heavy realism cast. You know, back in the days when they did Shanghai Tune, right? That was proper. Zhongwu did that drama. That was proper. Even though, like, it's not idol drama in any sense. It's brilliant. It's so fun. Like, when I was watching that, every episode was like, oh my god, this is so great. Just watching people growing mushrooms can be that fun. I never expected. That's the proper type of drama Zhongwu Yangguang should be doing. Shou Ming Shu, I don't know what happened to this project. I mean, supposedly looking at it on paper, it should be such a heavy realism topic thing that could be done really properly, yet. And considering how hard it was to shoot it, because they had to go to the Rio Plateau to do all those things under like really hard circumstances. Definitely a lot of physical hard work. Yet the end result as a drama wasn't very satisfying. So it's a pity. I haven't had time. I will tell my mom. My mom was busy in the last few days doing other things, but I will let her. I'll force her to watch it. Particularly the time after they got married and lived in the same dorm room, that was like, ha ha ha. Zhang Linghe and Chen Fei, it was Dili Ba. Well, once we get Chen Feiyu and Dili Ba, that's a fantasy, period, right? And compared to 1970s, I think we will be able to tell, honestly speaking, whether this guy is made for realism or fantasy. I really do think the character he does in 70s adds a lot more positive impression on him for him than any other characters he's ever done in Dramaland. You know, he played a character, a person that, imagine if this real person exists in life, right? You're gonna be so happy to be his friend. Because it's a decent, good guy who's also very capable. And like, can you fix my broken chair? You know? And he's like, okay, give me a nail. And then 2 minutes later, it's done. You know, it's like so useful and good, right? So that type of guy is very easy to imagine and relatable compared to like whatever Mo Zun in like fantasy idol dramas. Like, who the heck is that? Like, you can't have like real life equivalent. Even the one he did with Zhang Jingyi, also contemporary drama, that's also an unrealistic person. Like you can put him in reality and try to figure like what kind of view. It's completely detached. Whereas the 70 character is much more like, okay, I can see him as a real person. How dare you? Yeah, I watched a bit and also lost interest. Yeah, it wasn't good enough writing. So ultimately, I think, you know, when you write whatever fantastical period dramas, you still have to have the solid, good writing at the base, right? Otherwise, people might be interested for a bit, but then they're gonna go like after a few episodes because you can't keep them there. So much fuss with going in about love credits. What do you mean? I have no idea if there's something going on. I have no idea if there's a whatever fandom fight going on. I am unaware of it. I haven't heard about it. No pain, no gain. I didn't watch it. I watched the beginning and I found it didn't continue. Was it good? I watched the first episode or so and I just couldn't really feel like I want to continue. I know it's the drama with Peng Yuchang Lingyun, right? And he's the guy who got the money to start a game company. How dare you? Really? Yeah, it's an anime. I've seen it like online, what it looks like, but I haven't read it. Chen Fei Yu Duo Yun Xi drama. And ever has the chance to air. I don't think so. And you better hope it doesn't happen. These days, it's gonna be very bad for you if that happens. Because internet, like online kind of like, is like basically government doesn't want to look at any drama online. They don't want a huge waves of like whatever about whatever thing online. If you have a BL couple that are led by two popular guys, right, that got released as drama now, you're gonna guarantee to get like storm on Weibo, Xiaohongshu, Douyin, all those platforms are gonna be stormed by it. And it's gonna cause unrest because fandoms are gonna fight, right? One guy's fandom is gonna fight the other guy's fandom, and the couple's fandom are gonna fight the other two. So you're gonna have like at least 3 types of fandoms killing each other. Within fandoms, they're gonna have different versions and they're gonna fight each other. And so immediately the internet is gonna be a cesspool. And it's gonna be bubbling, blowing up shit show. The previous BL dramas have proven that's definitely gonna happen. Okay, you can't stop the young people's hormones, so they don't want to see that, right? It's potentially gonna cause a lot of shit that can actually extend to reality, right? Like epic shit. So, because epic shit has happened already because of previous BL couples. Therefore, you know, you're not gonna see the drama and then. Even if it, like, I can't see how it could come out and then actually benefit the two actors. It's not gonna benefit them, right? I mean, look at Chen Feiyu. He's even gone to 1970s Cultural Revolution character to play. Like, it's like that's closest to reality as you can get. Like, you know, he probably personally wouldn't want to be a drama that he's filmed a few years ago to air now. It's not gonna do him any good. You see, like any kind of war that happens, right? It's gonna negatively impact them. And what's gonna happen for people who want to attack? For example, if Chen Feiyu and Luo Yunxi's drama happens, Luo Yunxi's skeletons are gonna be dug out, like since he was born. Chen Feiyu too, and Chen Feiyu already has skeletons that people know about and always question about. One thing is that thing like happened a year or two ago where like he was sleeping with another girl and got like a photo taken. That's not so bad, right? But the other thing is everybody is always questioning about loyalty of his family, right, to China because he was born in America. And then You know, like what is his nationality, right? Is he Chinese or blah blah blah? Like these things can get very hot on internet to the point where it can just totally toast you. So you actually don't want to get super popular right now in China, like particularly like people like Chen Feiyu, because he's like the elite. He's belonging to the elite class no matter what. The daddy is the most famous director of his generation in China. The mom is one of the most prettiest actors of like, you know. If the son gets too famous, it may even backfire on the parents. What I'm trying to say is you don't want to get like super hot forefront of awareness as of now. Or anytime really for people like him. Because he can stay there safely and just do a couple of projects every year and be happy and do well. And like why not do that? Why not stay like that, right? It's not like he's gonna be lacking resources anytime soon. Considering where he comes from. Pursuit of Jade. So that's how they okay. That's how Pursuit of Jade. Okay. That's how they translate. I mean, it's okay. Honestly, I don't even know what the Chinese name actually means, 主语. Because the most very famous word in China was 主 is 主路, right? But that is basically different kingdoms trying to grab middle kingdom. But 主语, what is that? Chasing the jade? Yeah, I don't know what it means. And this is the time to prove Zheng Qingjie's 业务能力, right? This director, how good he is with his direction. Whether he is truly he's got the golden finger. He touches and it becomes gold. Whether he is really that person. This will be the time we can see that. If it happened and it worked, then we can build a shrine for Zheng Qingjie, Chinese drama land savior. No, it's not like if you get super famous, you're gonna get cancelled. It's because if you get famous, you're gonna be watched by a lot of people. You're gonna be like open target. And then, depending on how good you are, how strong you are, or how like, say if you have no dark history, so nobody can do anything to you. Obviously, you can be fine, but it's gonna be very tricky for a lot of people to say, I have absolutely clean slate of the past. It's very hard. Famous, not too famous. Liu Yingning is like, first is he's different from a lot of other stars, right? He's old. Do you realize that? He's actually no longer a kid. He says he's 1990, okay? I mean, public information, so that will make him that will make him 36 this year already, because he's a January, right? He's a Capricorn. But I'm 95% sure he's actually born in 87, not 90. Even his public record, like in these days, you go on, you check, it says 1990. No, 87. So that will make him 39. He's married once. He's 39. He climbed from the bottom of the society pretty much all the way up to now by himself. Obviously, it helps with friends, but no really like suddenly somebody dropped money on him and made him famous. He did it by himself. So he's in a different kind of like zone than most of the people in the business. Yeah, 87. It's me, okay? I am like, I don't have proof, but it's my observation based on certain clues. And also, we have 玄学. If you're into astrology charts, you're into 八字, you're into this fortune telling thing, right? If he was born in 1990, he's not gonna be a star. It's not in his chart if it's on that day, the same day, but it's 1990. You're not gonna see a star Liu Yingning singing on Chinese New Year gala show on CCTV. It just does not exist for that chart. But if it's 87 chart, it's there. Okay, so Which one do you want to believe? Do you want to believe in heaven? Or do you want to believe Baidu says he was born in 1990? And the 87 wasn't completely like proofless. I think a long time ago, his like driver's license or ID card got exposed. And they actually said, you know, like he was 87. Driver's license, don't lie, okay? So, and also because he can be highly benefited by the fire year. And look at what happened in 25, 26, and 27. Like 27 hasn't happened. But think about starting from last year to this year. You see how quickly he's getting noticed. Now, if he was born in 90, he doesn't have that chart, which means he wouldn't benefit from the 3-year fire. But he's already benefiting highly from the 3 years fire. So that proves he's the 87 person. He's not born in 90. If he was born in 90, it's not that chart. It's not going to work like the way it worked now. And I bet on 玄学 on this. Okay? Trust me. These like big things, right? It's like if you're gonna be somebody who's gonna be seen by thousands and millions of people or not, those things are very visible in charts. And you could be seen by a lot of people in very different ways. But the thing is, you are being known by a lot of people. That's a very clear quality. And then whether you're looking at Chinese 八字 or astrology, you have it, you have it. You don't have it, you don't have it, right? And if he was born in 1990 on the same day, right, the January whatever 8th or something, it's not gonna happen like that. He's not gonna get to today's fame. It's not in the chart. It's never gonna, you know, it's just the way it is. But if his 87 chart, it can work. So when some guy is like, when the guy is basically 40-year-old, right, like 39 basically at this point. he did it, right? Like he started from like being a chef and stuff. He has such a different view about how things work, I'd say, than a lot of youngsters who got into this business by 关系, by being like the second, third generation of whatever. Like, this guy is basically his street smartness, right, is like tenfolds of those people. Like, you think you can trick him and trap him in any way. The only thing I would worry about Liu Yuning is like he's gonna work himself to death. It's like overworking, workaholic that destroys your health. Like, that's probably the only thing you need to worry about him, not anything else. You're not gonna be able to trap him. Like, he would be so clever, like He's done that already a million times in his like earlier years before he was seeing, okay? So don't have to worry about that. I don't know, the age thing could be a lot of reasons. I don't know, easier to get roused. Because if you know, like you're 40, it's like people are not gonna think of you as an idol drama lead actor as easily, right? As say if you're in the mid-30s. It's kind of a complicated thing. Also, it could be a reason that he doesn't want to let people know his real birthday to stop people from meta attacking. Because there are black magic exists, you know, black magic, right? If you let people know your real birthday time and anything, somebody can do something if they get hold of some part of you. I think there's like black magic if you get like hair, right? Someone's hair, you can do something to them or like whatever. If they have like exact birth time and your name and information and a part of you, like they can do crazy magic, which is like, it could happen. And entertainment business is highly actually superstitious. There are a lot of people doing crazy things behind the scene that you would not believe. I mean, just think about elites and the US and, you know, like what you found out this year, if you haven't heard about that last year. It's like what people are doing in politics, in the like the highest level of society, what kind of like cult they're in, kind of like rituals they go through, like the crazy things, right? It's real in the West too, so like you think like, you know, in other places it does not exist. Entertainment business is famous for people who go do like basically Udo and stuff like that's over the toply crazy. So another thing might be that you just want to protect yourself, not letting people know your real birthday. Right? I'm mostly like I think my instinct about a person mostly comes from their voice. I hear their voice and I feel whether this is a good enough person or not. And I'm usually right. And and I think voice tells so much about a person than face or anything. You don't have to look at the person, you just listen to them. You know kind of like 80% of what kind of people they are. And it's always more reliable than looking at the face. We're somehow at weird places now. Like somehow we ended up talking about black magic. So, what else do we need to talk about? Like these are the current ongoing, at least the ones I'm watching. There have been a couple that finished that I just didn't really talk about, like the Gongjun police drama that I watched most of it and didn't even make a video about it. I don't know what to say about it. It's find it very hard to actually even talk about it. I don't know what to talk about it. I've watched, but I feel like okay, it happened, done. What else has been going on? I mean, in recent couple of like days or weeks, those were the drama I've been watching. 90/70, Generation to Generation didn't finish. Scarlet Seeds and kind of watching as okay, generation about love. Like complicated drama. So looking forward is definitely the 主语. Let's see 曾庆杰 whether he can make a miracle happen. Good period drama to happen again. First, like the platforms just keep their hands away, like from the project. Don't stick people into it who don't deserve to be there. Good director have proper control, good script that doesn't get easily changed. Proper actors who actually care about like making character on their work instead of being famous, like all those things. Xianxia is very dead because it's only Xian, it's not Xia at all, right? There's no Xia in Xianxia. There's just stupid love stories, pathetic ego explosive characters, overdressed in weird looking hair pieces and dangling bits. No, I don't think one drama can change the course because still it's very much kidnapped by the stupid view of data and numbers. In a way, I feel 文艺, so which means literature and culture, literature and art, right? Basically, film, television, any form of like performance, this type of soft kind of product. I believe it could not be fully commercialized and market. Like you cannot do it fully relied just on market itself. It needs to have a proportion that's controlled beyond or like directed or targeted or controlled beyond just looking at the business, the market, just like what makes money. What makes click rate, like it has to have a proportion of power and say that's not totally looking at the value of dramas or any performances just based on how much money it can make, how much ad money it can make, how much click rate it can bring. If you let the market fully control it, it's just gonna turn into any other product that people can make money on. It's not gonna be that different from soybeans or like crude oil, really. But it's not that, right? This type of project can influence humans' ideas, the head, the thinking, and that's a battlefield that probably is the most valuable one. So I am not the kind of person who believe a free market of this is actually a good idea in any sense. You let the platforms run like the whole thing, the show, and let them have all the power. This is what we have in Chinese drama, the constant decline of quality of projects since the day they took control about 10 years ago. Of like basically shaping how projects are created, made, then get distributed. The whole chain got fully kind of like kidnapped and taken control over by web platforms and those kind of huge internet conglomerate companies like Ali or Tencent. This is what you get. Completely controlled by that market keeps putting out shit. And this is what happens like to a lot of other businesses, not just like this, but basically Chinese Dramaland is proving again that is what's gonna happen if you let capital own everything and has all say. This is what's gonna happen. So it needs to get redesigned, rethought of. Before you, like, if the system continues functioning like what it is now, it's just not gonna, you know, like, it's like the root has diseases. It's not gonna grow a healthy tree. He's not out of nowhere. He actually exploded first time back in 18, which is like already how many years ago? 8 years ago? He truly came out of like being seen from 18. And then he started going into drama, and also he built that up for about like 5-6 years really to last year. So it's not out of nowhere. You probably didn't catch the early days, but it's not out of nowhere. He got really, really hot on like short video platforms in 2018. That's how he got first kind of famously and being known. That's already an achievement. Basically, imagine Avenue X tomorrow suddenly get like 20 million followers and become like one of the biggest YouTuber. That's kind of what happened to him back in 2018 in China. So that's already epic. Right? Even if he doesn't do anything after that, it's like already a huge achievement that 99.9% of human beings are never gonna do. Okay. After that, then he builds upon it, right? So interesting life. 小城大事. No, it's boring. I watch it a bit. I'm like, I can't watch this acting. It's very unconvincing acting. Zhao Liying is now very, very limited by her. If she wants to break through, it's going to be very, very hard for her at this age. When she's playing the character in 小城大事, you can see what's the problem is she's playing a ganbu and 1980s and like kind of university graduate, right? That at that time, that's like very few people in China. It belongs to its own highly educated, much more than normal people class, and she actually doesn't understand if she's from that background, and she also has like even like overseas student, like kind of like whatever. I can't remember. She can speak French or something. She will not be talking and acting in any of the way you see her in the drama, because it means first she doesn't really understand the 80s, and if you are a university graduate, what is the 含金量, right? What is the high level of like the ratio of your like 24K gold level? And therefore, and back then, like it's like really highly valuable if you're a university graduate. And those old-fashioned university graduates are highly educated people, and therefore the way they would hold themselves, talk, and like all the things she does in the drama just doesn't convince you of her background at all. Like you don't believe she's that. And because for anybody who's lived through the time 80s, right, if you know 80s university graduates, it's not like that. Means like she first doesn't know or didn't spend time researching into it and look into like what kind of character she didn't do the homework enough, basically. Or she tried, but then she couldn't convince you. And some people very cruelly pointed out, but I think it's actually true, which is her personal education background is too not strong to allow her to play those roles convincingly. And it sounds like discriminatory kind of thing, but it's true that she wasn't graduated from any proper school, and her personal education background is not enough for her to play basically 高级知识分子, high-leveled knowledge people, like university graduates of the 80s, or even today, say if she's gonna play a scientist, right? It's gonna be very unconvincing. If you've been basically studied in a university environment for years, you do research, you go to labs, you go to conferences, you're in that environment, you're in academia for a while, right? You vibe differently than people who've never been there. And it's just the way it is, right? You can tell, like, people are very sensitive to these things. And she just doesn't have that background. So when she plays those roles, you feel it's just like not... It's like she's trying to do, but she cannot convince you. And a lot of that would limit her like performance in the future. I've watched somebody who talked about her acting, which is like her lack of education is limiting her further advancement in the world of acting, which, I mean, to some extent I agree. I think it has parts of it would influence some parts of your... But right, like as famous as she is now and at this age, right, it's kind of like hard to imagine. It was like you can like what do you do? Go back to school? that does not make sense either. So I can't remember who said that, but I've seen like not just one person. I think multiple people talked about this thing about her, which is not having enough education background would make her hard to basically grasp certain characters or read through the script and very logically and analytically look at her roles and then have that ability to judge herself. Like what's wrong, what's right, what needs to be tweaked. And to some extent, it does influence. No, it's not like you need to go to college. You need to get educated, not go to college. College doesn't equal anything. Educated means what? You read a lot of stuff. You study a lot of stuff, from history to literature to science. You have a huge amount of input of information, language even. All those things will help you kind of construct your, give you ability to pull yourself out of the whole thing and think not about your ego or anything. When you look at a character, right, you have to, right, how do I tackle it? You have to build up that ability to think and then know where to look for information if you lack, but then you know where to go. Right, that's also important, and what needs to be thought of, right? For example, like how deeply you can think through a character, and those are all abilities that needs, like, there's a lot of training, like kind of like problem solving, that kind of training needed, and also you also need to input, like a huge amount of information input will result in a better output. That's in everything, like we're considering from art to history, like anything you can think of. That would help you be a better actor, understand your characters better. Say if someone is a fanatic of military history of the world, right? And then he goes, like, he's an actor too, and he goes to play a ancient general. It's not going to be visible in terms of he knows how many battles has happened in history and what matters in a battle during the cold weapon era. But this person will be so much more confident at dealing with the role. And then when he sees something in the script that is actually not logical, his character shouldn't be saying that, because he knows enough about military stuff. He could even stand and then point that out and say, the script has problem, we have to check this, or maybe think about other ways. At least being able to, as like a guardian, right? Like keep this, like being able to provide valuable suggestions to the project. I mean, talk to directors, talk to scriptwriters, figure out a better way to deal with things. Had this actor like not learn, right, all the stuff that he knows, he would just be like passively sitting there and reading out the line. And the result would be the character he plays wouldn't look as convincing. And this type of thing would happen constantly in the drama making, every second, every scene, every line you speak, right? You can stop and think, okay, but my character is of this condition, like this background. Then he or she would not be speaking this line in this because it does not make this sense, right? A lot of actors are very, very like not learned in anything. Like they have very small knowledge base that they're unable to sometimes even understand the lines that they're given. And then any way further than that is like to suggest what may make more sense. That's beyond their ability. Therefore, you're limited with what's given to you. You'll never be able to create more and then make better work. These are all very, very important. So as you go on, right, the older you get, it's just a lot of it. So it has nothing to do with whether you've got a college like degree. That does not matter. But it depends on like how learned you are and how willing you're constantly to get new information and knowledge from everything. And you never know what's going to be useful. That's the thing. You have to just cast a wide net and then keep getting information. Because you can always be playing characters and roles that you've never anticipated, and it may be a complete blind zone. So if you've never known anything about that, and you're going to play it, then all the things you've learned previously can help you research, pointing you to the direction, and you'd be much more sort of like quickly to figure out what I need and where to get it. And once you get information, how do I deal with it, right? All that is kind of learned ability. And a lot of actors who are very pretty, right? But they're highly like, they lack this type of thing. It never happens to them. They don't learn things. They don't get new information. If you've ever talked to like real people in the industry, like actors, right? You'd be very surprised about like the high percentage of people who are totally ignorant about everything and anything. The level of uneducated and unlearned is stunning, very stunningly, shockingly low, from what I know, based on what I've personally witnessed. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but a high percentage of people are like that, right? If you occasionally come across a couple of have a wide knowledge base, I wouldn't say Renaissance man, but somebody who knows a bit about that, a bit about this, like they're like they know what you're talking about, whatever. You'd be like, oh, I finally found someone I can talk in the industry. You know, when I was working on sets of drama making and filmmaking, right, my daily life was like really painful because 80% of the time you're waiting around for camera to set up. That's a normal shooting set. Most of the time, because we need to change setup, need to change the light. So the people who needs to like retouch makeup, they're doing their stuff. But a lot of other people are sitting around and standing around because it doesn't happen all the time that everybody needs to be moving. So what happens on a shooting set is 80% of the day, you're like trying to be not bored. And then talk to people and have a just chatting one way because, you know, like taking your phone out is not the best thing. And you have no idea how boring it was for me. I was just like often there. I wanted like anything I want to chat. Nobody has any response because I know that they don't care about those things and they don't really talk about. The only thing I remember, like the things that got talked about most on sets when you're shooting a drama with everybody on set is like food. What's the best to eat around this place? And like for actresses and like I tell you, like it's they care really they care about like designer brands. What's the latest design of that bag from that brand? Yeah, they do talk about that. They care about what makeup, what skincare makes best of, like, and makes sense, right? That's their job. Anything beyond that you want to talk about, right? Whether it's like right now what's going on in the world of politics or like anything you discover that's like a little bit interesting and like anything, it's like nobody has any clue about it. They don't ever talk about it. They just talk about like the guys talk about sex really all the time. That's the only like those like promiscuity jokes is like a famous thing on set. Everybody is like, so the guys I don't even know, sometimes don't even get close to them because it's food, sex, sometimes like other like I don't know, like they do drugs but they don't let you know, and then it's all these things, right? So if you're soaked in that environment every year, you never get any new information input about anything, right? You're always just talking about these things going in circles. So it gets really boring on set. It's very boring. One of the things that made me not wanting to be on crew to shoot dramas and stuff is like if I go on, I'm in the hotel every day, like going out, coming back for like 3 months. Every day I go on set, first it's exhausting. You're standing like 16 hours a day. Your legs are like breaking. I don't like that. It's not fun. This and if it's hot, it's burning. It's hot. If it's cold, right? And all that aside is like the emptiness of communication. You're like 3 months of no valuable information exchange. You rarely find one person you can talk to on a set. That was my experience of shooting stuff. And sometimes you find that one person and that's the only person like you end up talking to every day. And sometimes you look at each other with that look. It's, if it only happens for a week, okay? If it happens for 3 months, like it's hard. And if you think that's your job and you go on like 2-3 dramas a year, so that's like 3 times 3 months like that. You need rehab after that, right? It's so hard. And the reality is this entertainment business, most people in it are this type of boring, nothing goes on in their head people. I'm not saying there aren't very interesting and, you know, worth talking, like having a conversation with people, but they don't come by very often. It's hard basically in this industry if you. So sometimes, like recently, I think Liu Yuning in his live stream last year or earlier this year, he said he wasn't so eager to go into next production. And I think I understand, like even when he's like an actor, so he's not really talking to most of the time the other workers, but probably director or other actors. He said it's like, if there's no point of doing it, why do it, right? If I don't find there's anything new or worth doing, then like I can keep getting new roles and making, but what's the point if I keep making the same thing over and over again? There's no new things happening, and why, you know? He said that, and I think it makes total sense, because the daily life of being on a drama and on a crew is exceedingly boring and very drought-like for your soul. You'd be much feeling better if you're like reading a book somewhere and doing other things, you know, learning a little bit other things, but it never happens on a shooting crew. The shooting crew is food, sex, makeup, designer stuff, bag, drug, and repeat. Directors, a lot of directors are scumbags. Like, you would really call them scumbags in real life. On every level, scumbags. Many, okay? I'm not saying all, but many. I started Wind Blows from Longxi. I don't like it, but you may find it different. I don't get it, that drama. I find any of this guy's novel is like actually not made for drama adaptation. He's not writing from a visual perspective. Like, this is a novel guy stuff. And then if you come across a director who doesn't know how to change that to a visual storytelling, and also Longxi has Baiyu, Chen Kun. Neither of them provided good enough performance in the drama for me. They have their own ways of making me go, oh, not again! But they just keep doing it. So I didn't even finish watching, but I know what happened to that whole story, and not my cup of tea at all. Also, I don't like the camera work of that drama. A lot of camera work makes no sense. Like, why do you position your camera there with that framing? Like, what are you trying to do? They do a lot of that. I'm picky, but that's me. 檀健次王楚然 I don't know. I have not heard anything. I mean, when it comes out, it comes out. That's it. It's just one of many dramas they have on their hand. I don't think this one is in any way special or more special than other idol dramas they have. And also, like, even though it hasn't happened, I don't have high hopes for it. 檀健次 is not made for that type of tradition. I also, like, when you pair him up with Wang Churan, she's